If you are someone who pulls a lot of clients from TikTok, take this as a good reminder that you do not own your social media presence. Whether it's the economy, your specific industry, or you're just in a business slump, I want to talk about a process that I would work through with a client if they found themselves in a marketing lead consultation slump. Marketing has a very difficult time competing with referrals because it's a great way, frankly, for people to immediately build trust with the business, knowing that they have served someone else that they trust.
Welcome to the Media Books Podcast, the only place on the internet where creative accounting isn't a bad thing. Owning a virtual firm today means having a professional and modern online presence, and in this podcast, we talk about how to do just that. My name is Kristen Corey, and I'm the owner of Media Books, a media agency that provides creativity exclusively to accounting firms. And if you're an accounting firm owner, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Media Books Podcast. Now, I just got back from Japan, and there is one thing that is undeniable, and that is that the cost of living over here is intense. Living in Japan for the last 3 years with an American income, we were able to live pretty comfortably. But man, it's like $20 for just a simple Chipotle bowl over here. And so it's definitely been a little bit of an adjustment as we get back to American life. And with that, I have also gotten some feedback from clients that over the last couple months, their client turnover has been a little bit higher than it normally is. And it kind of leads us to the question, are times tough right now? Maybe it depends on your industry. For example, if you serve real estate clients, as someone who just closed on a house, these interest rates can really rock the real estate industry. And so if you're someone that serves real estate agents, you may be struggling right now to grow your client base or grow your audience. And so we want to go to the next question, which is, should your marketing strategy change? Let's talk about it and where you can refocus. So for today's headline, it's something that I feel like I can't ignore as someone that creates marketing content, a lot of it around social media, and that is the TikTok ban. I did a poll asking people, are they for or against it, or do they just want to see the results? About 2/3 of the people said that they were against the ban. A third said they were for the ban. And then the majority of the votes actually weren't for either of those people. They were actually, aside from like the 2/3, 1/3, the majority of the votes were people that just wanted to know the results and know what other people were thinking. And that's why I posted the poll anyways, because I was just curious what my audience generally thinks. And I think a lot of that is maybe sometimes we are hesitant to share our opinion, don't really want to get into politics. And even I debated on saying something about this because whenever you bring up politics or something that touches on politics right now, it can spark a lot of passion in people. And so it can sometimes be difficult to know what to say or know how to not offend anyone and just have a conversation where we all hopefully leave feeling a little bit better. And so here's the thing. I have a marketing podcast. I am an expert in marketing. And so that is what I am going to advise you today. If you are someone who pulls a lot of clients from TikTok, take this as a good reminder that you do not own your social media presence. TikTok is not going away. They do have a few months where they have the option to resell to an American company. So that may or may not happen. If it doesn't happen, though, again, it's a good reminder that you do not own your social media presence. You do not own your followers. And this is always why it's a good idea to have a backup marketing strategy or multiple marketing assets where you build an audience. If you are just starting out, my general advice is to pick 2 platforms, pick 2 ways that you primarily market, and then slowly add to that as you become more comfortable. So when I say pick 2, I mean Instagram and YouTube, or TikTok and podcasting. 2 ways that you focus on putting content out into the world, 2 ways that you try to build your audience. And that is just kind of a way to help narrow in your focus. Because if you listen to too many influencers online, they're going to tell you to do everything, to post everywhere, and to be, everything to everyone. And that is just, I think, too difficult when you're running a business and you don't, frankly, have the time to put out great quality content every day. And so I think 2 platforms, 2 marketing assets is doable. Once you become comfortable, once you become consistent, and you have the capacity, then you can then add another. How you pick the 2, I recommend doing a combo of 1, a platform that you are most comfortable with, and 2, where your clients most likely hang out. 1, you want the platform you're most comfortable with, because that is probably where you're going to be able to be the most consistent. If you are trying to learn a new platform and forcing yourself to be on a platform that doesn't feel quite right. So for example, if you're not used to LinkedIn and you're more used to Instagram, you're going to gravitate more towards Instagram on a day-to-day basis than you are LinkedIn. So that's something to consider. Where are you going to be able to be the most consistent? Probably where you're most comfortable. And then 2, also consider where your audience is. If you are targeting a lot of, we'll say, typically older, maybe white collar, higher income professionals, LinkedIn is going to be a better platform for that. That doesn't mean you're not going to find those people on Instagram, but generally the demographics of Instagram are different. You're going to find a lot more creatives on Instagram. You're going to find a lot more women on Instagram. Again, not to say there aren't men that are more type A, but it's just talking about general demographics. And so pick those 2 platforms, figure out what consistency means to you, get comfortable, build an audience, and then start building on another platform. If TikTok is one of those 2 platforms that you focus on, I do recommend considering adding a third right now and finding a way to encourage your TikTok followers to go find you on another platform just to keep that audience and that momentum going. You are being given runway right now to plan. Use it. Whether it's the economy, your specific industry, or you're just in a business slump, I want to talk about a process that I would work through with a client if they found themselves in a marketing client lead consultation slump. Things have slowed down for whatever reason and slowed down for whatever reason. And so these are kind of the steps that I would take to strategize, what do we do next? And the first thing that we would do is really assess where we're at. So with all my clients, we have analytics. We know where we either pull analytics from, or we have different analytics spreadsheets that we put together. And then I also encourage all my clients to keep analytics of their consultations, their current clients, and then clients that retire. So first thing to ask is basically, do you keep analytics of your website, your social media, followers, stats, things like that, and then all of your consultations, clients, and leads? Once you have all those numbers, data, analytics, you should be able to cross-reference and see, when I get more followers on Instagram, I get more consultations. Or when I send more email campaigns, I get more leads coming in. When my website views dip, so do my consultations. And it's going to be different for every client. But for example, us at MediaBooks, I know when our website traffic increases, I get more consultations. And so this gives me a starting point to know, okay, my consultations have slowed down. Have my website views slowed down? Yes, they have. Okay, so I know I need to build a marketing strategy around getting people to my website. If I can just get people to my website, in the past, I have seen that my consultations will increase. So you cross-reference all those different historical data points, things like that. You're an accountant. You should know how to use Excel. Figure out a way that you're comfortable in setting up an analytics spreadsheet for your marketing stats in Excel. And this is something that you want to update on a month-to-month basis. So just like you do your bookkeeping, keep your marketing stats up to date. And again, we're not just talking about followers on Instagram and website views. Make sure you are also referencing consultations that you get, clients that you have, clients that retire, the kind of the turnover of your clients. Second thing, when it comes to assessing where you're at is, let's say you don't have any analytics. You maybe just got started. Maybe you have absolutely no data on your consultations or your leads, you want to try to pull that together. And this is actually going to take some time. And frankly, the longer you've been in business, the longer it'll take, but the better quality data you will have. And so try to pull historical data from your two primary marketing assets. And I just talked about what those were in our little TikTok segment, but focus on your two marketing assets where you focus most of your marketing, and then also go into your consultations. So write down how many consultations you have each month, how many leads, how many clients have, gone to seek other opportunities. That's data you should have, whether it's, from your CRM like Dubsado or just a Google Calendar, Calendly. Try to pull all that data together. And then once you have everything in an organized spreadsheet, that's when you want to look at the trends and use these trends again as your starting point. So do you generate more leads when you post more frequently? Do you generate more leads during certain times of the year? If taxes are your primary service that you offer, you probably get most of your clients from January to April. Are you looking to get more bookkeeping clients? If so, maybe it's time to look at your marketing channels and figure out, okay, am I talking mostly about taxes year round? Well, if so, right now, April, May, people probably aren't going to be resonating with that message. And so maybe you need to change that message. Do you need to send more consistent email campaigns if you want to continue to see those, numbers grow as your email campaigns grow? Work backwards from the trends that you see. Now, let's say you put hours of time into pulling all this consultation data, pulling all your historical data, figuring out your marketing assets and, how to get your website views and all that. And you notice no trends. This is the second thing that we're going to do. We're going to focus our marketing on our current clients. And this does a few things. One, it helps you keep clients. We're under the assumption that right now that times are tough, client turnover is high, you're having trouble pulling in consultations. What we want to do is we want to make sure that the people that we are still working with are happy. Check in with them, make sure you're spending time with them to figure out, okay, am I serving you in all the ways that you need to be served? Is there any ways that we're falling short? Where can I help you? Keep your current clients happy. If you are a firm where maybe you're the face of the firm and you do typically more high-level stuff and you've outsourced some of your bookkeeping or client management to your team members, maybe this isn't a bad time for you to personally check in with all of your clients. It'll be worth the revenue. Also, it's easier to grow your revenue with your current clients than it is to go and get new clients, meaning it's easier to grow your revenue by upselling. So again, if most of your services are primarily taxes and you are trying to maintain or even increase your income second half of April through the rest of the year, do all your clients know you offer tax planning? And maybe they do know about tax planning, but they don't really understand what it is. Do all your clients know that you offer bookkeeping or advisory services? Talk with them about it. If you are at a higher level, and this is kind of the one time that you're checking in with your clients, giving them a phone call, this is a great opportunity to upsell them, to talk about your different services, to hear their pain points and be like, hey, I can solve your problem. It's with this service, but we need to kind of grow your service plan. So that's something else that you can do with kind of just focusing on your current clients. And then also something else is to encourage referrals. By encouraging referrals, you are going to be really putting gasoline on the fire that a lot of people run their entire business on. A lot of accounting firms grow primarily based on referrals. Marketing has a very difficult time competing with referrals because it's a great way, frankly, for people to immediately build trust with a business, knowing that they have served someone else that they trust. So by focusing on your current clients, as I mentioned, checking in with everyone, having those meetings is a great way to do it. Also focusing your marketing content on those different sort of services that you're trying to promote. In emails, for example, let's say you send out an email newsletter on a regular basis to everyone in your contact list. Try sending out an email newsletter specifically to your clients. Make it more personable, tailor the information, and be sure to highlight services that maybe most of your clients either don't purchase, subscribe to, or a service that you feel like a lot of your clients could benefit from. That's a great time to really highlight the service and then also get their attention, because sometimes if you have a client and you're sending them newsletters, they may just scroll by it thinking, I don't really need to read my accountant's latest blog article on how to read a balance sheet, that's what they're for. I don't need to read their newsletter. But if you start sending a newsletter that is specifically for clients with, what's going on in your business with a more personalized letter, and you talk about services that you can upsell them on, you may get their attention more so than sort of your standard newsletter. And then something else that I mentioned was referrals and encouraging referrals with your clients. Starting a referral program can be a great way to just give them that extra encouragement to really share that you've helped them and their business a lot. There's different ways that you can do it, and I've talked about it from time to time, but really it's going to be based on your own processes and what you can afford and budget. You can do referral programs like a discount off their next month of services. You can pay them a flat, rate of $100 for every advisory referral that comes in, 10% for the first month of services that a new client brings. I've seen tons of different sort of offerings. And sometimes people will be like, what should I offer? What should I do? And it's like, well, it's really, again, going to be based on what you can afford. You obviously don't want to put yourself in the negative. You can have some standards and some boundaries around it. Whereas if someone brings you a referral, you will only honor that referral if that client stays with you for 3 months. Make up your own rules, figure out what you can afford, and then explain those rules, those terms and conditions to your clients in a referral program. And that's something that really can easily run itself, and you don't need to put a lot of time or energy into it. Create some terms and conditions, create a landing page, tell your clients about it, and hopefully they send some good leads your way. Like so many remote workers, I am picky when it comes to my tech. I want a simple user interface, something that integrates with all the apps I'm already using, and I don't want to be nickel and dimed for every feature. I have run campaigns for plenty of accounting firms and used nearly every app under the sun, but for the past 4 years, I have been using Flodesk at MediaBooks. Flodesk offers a minimalistic user interface that does not cut back on any features. With workflows, automations, email campaigns, and advanced analytics, all for one price, I have no plans on switching anytime soon. And if you want to check out Flodesk, you can get 50% off for your first year by simply clicking the link in the show notes. Now, something else that I want to talk about, we've talked about assessing your numbers, really looking at your historical data. We've talked about focusing on your current clients. Another step that you can really do to refocus your marketing strategy is to understand your brand personas. And I'm going to back up and make sure that we all are on the same page terminology-wise, starting with what are brand personas? Brand personas are basically giving a life-like personality to your clients and kind of batching your clients into different groups. And if you work with packages, this can be a really easy way to do it. So for example, maybe you have, your minimum, very basic package. Typically that is going to be for one buyer persona or brand persona. And then you have maybe your mid-size package. This is going to be sort of your bread and butter and where you get most of your clients. And then maybe you have an advanced package, and that's for your, bigger clients or less price sensitive clients. And when you consider all these different groups or different brand personas, you can then start to tap into who is currently buying and who is pulling back right now, dependent on the economy, dependent on, whatever factors are affecting the number of consultations that you bring in. So for example, inflation has been fairly high. Maybe you're not selling as many mid-size packages, but your lower end basic package, you've gotten a few more clients. Maybe it's time to focus more on increasing those basic size packages. And of course, with your accounting background, you should know, are you still profitable selling those cheaper ones? Are those the ones that are going to help you really grow your business to the size you want? Maybe there's a way for you to still keep that price point, but change around the services a little bit. Try to focus in on what is it about those basic packages that can really help you grow your business from that side until things turn around that you can focus back more on those mid-sized packages. Conversely, maybe you aren't getting very many mid-size consultations. Maybe you aren't getting very many basic package consultations. And in fact, most of your consultations are coming from advanced people needing advanced accounting services, advisory services, those maybe higher level services. That means, okay, For my marketing content, I need to shift focus from talking about, all my different service packages to those higher level services like advisory, like my CFO services, like my tax planning. That's where I'm selling more. Those are the people that are able to afford me right now. I'm going to refocus on this brand persona. So that's really what understanding your different brand personas can do for your marketing strategy as the economy changes. And I have a really great resource. It's HubSpot's Buyer Persona Generator. And this resource really kind of walks you through the process of creating a brand persona. And so if you do not have brand personas, I recommend checking it out. Consider your different service offerings, who purchases those different service offerings, and creating brand persona for each. Once you have those different brand personas, really pay attention to what times of the year you get certain clients, and then also how the economy is doing when you get those certain clients. If you are someone who pulls a lot of clients from TikTok, take this as a good reminder that you do not own your social media presence. Whether it's the economy, your specific industry, or you're just in a business slump, I want to talk about a process that I would work through with a client if they found themselves in a marketing client lead consultation slump. Things have slowed down for whatever reason and slowed down for whatever reason. And so these are kind of the steps that I would take to strategize. What do we do next? Marketing has a very difficult time competing with referrals because it's a great way, frankly, for people to immediately build trust with the business, knowing that they have served someone else that they trust. I am very intentional in making sure whatever marketing tips and tricks I share are tailored to the accounting industry. And as a result, I have built a pretty awesome community of accountants and bookkeepers. And while I love sharing advice on how to improve your website or capture the next great lead, I know you may have other challenges facing your firm, which is why I love partnering with other service and product providers that support the accounting industry. If you are one of those professionals that focuses on serving accountants, I want you to know that MediaBooks now provides multiple advertisement opportunities. You can promote your podcast, app, or services on the MediaBooks podcast or our newsletter and grow your reach. To learn more, visit MediaBooksAgency.com/sponsors or check out the link in our show notes. There you can find our media kit and apply to be a sponsor. MediaBooks, the only place on the internet where creative accounting isn't a bad thing.